really great weekend for the Big Orange Bob on a couple of fronts. Recruiting wise for football, we hosted the 865 Live recruiting event again this year. Always fun to watch that. A lot of talent rolls in. This weekend was no different. And then Tony V and the boys went down to Hoover, Alabama, and they didn't leave any doubt this time. There was no sharing of trophies, conference championships this weekend. It was all orange.
That's right. Well, first of all, guys, remember to like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. All that's free to you, but it helps us out tremendously. We do appreciate all that.
Absolutely.
Let's get into the content, Tim. Um, you know, First let's start with the 865 Live event. That is a huge event for us every year. It is a fun time for the commits, or
Yeah.
non-commits, the guys we hope have commits, come in, just have a good time. They play a lot of games, scavenger hunts, do a lot of little stuff there that's non-football related, really, just to bond and let the guys have a good time. It's a big lead in to a lot of official visits in June,
Junior
a
officials.
lot of commitments in July. So it's a huge event. From what we found out was, let's start off with the main
The headliner.
headliner, David Sanders, 5-star offensive tackle in the country, number one offensive tackle in the country, Tim.
Well, he is, Bob, and he's been on campus. This is the third time in just a couple of months,
A short period of time. Yeah.
and going to be back on, I believe, the 14th at the fourth time now.
Mhm.
Uh, he's a prospect. You look at him, you can see why he's number one tackle in the country. I mean, he's great footwork, athletic, um, just a huge, massive frame, and that's on the field. Just seems like a nice kid off the field too. Every interview I've ever seen, just always smiling. Seems like a good kid. And Tennessee's deep in this one. Deep in this one.
Yeah, he's a guy who I think, Tim, he's a day one starter pretty much wherever he goes. I mean, his footwork, athletic ability is big time. But anyway, he we're in on this one deep with Clemson, Ohio State, probably top three, probably. And I really think maybe Georgia's, and I think pretty high in there too. I think I think we're the leader, Tim, right this moment. But you know, with one thing I've learned the last year or two, uh, you can be the leader all the way up to a phone call with NIL, man. Somebody willing to throw an extra couple thousand, 100,000 at you, uh, that could change the way you feel about a school pretty quick.
It changed the way I feel about a lot of things
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah,
I might not even care for you too much, Bob, brother or not.
right. Somebody give me a couple 100,000.
Yeah,
Does make a difference.
it does. But I mean, the staff has put tons of work into this young man, and I'm sure he's got a very competitive NIL offer from UT.
I guarantee
It
it.
just
Yeah,
depends when somebody comes in and just decides we got to have this guy.
yeah. They're willing to overpay.
Yeah, and Tennessee generally, except for quarterbacks, in my opinion, we try not to overpay,
Right.
and they get some pushback on that. But quite honestly, man, you don't have monopoly money,
Yeah, you
and
got
they're
to run it
trying
like a
to
business.
yeah, and they're trying to do it across the entire board for the entire team. Um, and I would say, looking at the roster for this coming year, I think it's been a pretty successful thing. I think it's going to pay off this season.
Yeah.
But with David Sanders, real quickly with him again, I think Chad Simmons and Steve Wiltfong both this week said the same thing you did. They think Tennessee's uh, in that number one spot right now.
Right.
They didn't give a crystal ball, but if it was today, they'd say he'd be running the orange.
Right.
Um, but he wasn't the only 5-star on campus.
No.
And the next one we're going to talk about is Jamie French, wide receiver.
Mhm.
Now, this is one I'd say we're not in the top spot for Jamie.
No, probably Texas, probably leading for him. But I think we're in this thing tight. You got our 5-star quarterback commit, George McIntyre, been working French and Sanders and several other people big time. I mean, we're in this thing deep, but I feel like we're probably second, third, fourth in there. But I hope he seemed to have a really great time this weekend. Hopefully, we made up some ground on Texas, and we'll probably need a really good official visit maybe a larger NIL package or whatever.
To grab him, but
Like you said,
I feel pretty good about the receivers position, though. I think we'll
Boy,
get
that
one
was-
more.
yeah,
We got Caleb Cunningham coming in, and we've got
Travis Smith.
Smith, who he might be the guy that we wind up getting. It's hard to say.
That's who I would guess at this moment, but we'll see. Um, some more big time guys we had in there. The big time #4 edge in the country, Jared Smith. That was one I didn't think we was, heavy in. But after listening to his interview, I mean, we've listened to a lot of these things, man. When you listen to that interview, he sounds like a guy who's like, he loves Tennessee. I mean, he was feeling it when he was there. I mean, we might not get this kid, but I think we're right in the thick of this one.
Well, we are. You expect a kid out of Alabama that state schools won't. It's going to be hard to get out of there.
Right.
Elite defensive line prospect that Georgia heavily wants. Be hard to get them away. And I would have told you we sat down, and too far away really to be realistic. But just like that interview that Ogamuro had a couple of weeks ago, and you could tell coming out of it that this guy, that Ogamuro, you could tell he's probably committed.
Committed at that point.
I wouldn't go that far to Jared Smith at all, but there is no doubt in my mind that we are a player for Jared Smith.
Yeah.
We're in this thing deep, and if we were to get him, I won't be shocked in the least.
Right. Well, he did say that we was much higher on his list than what most people think. So,
And it was obvious
yeah,
from the interview.
Yeah, from the rest of the interview. Yeah.
Great player. Love to get him.
Yeah. Always can't have too many great offensive tackles and edge players. I mean, just those are difference makers.
We say it all the time. It's all about the quarterback.
Mhm.
Either the quarterback himself protecting the quarterback or getting after the quarterback in today's game.
That's it. I mean, it's a big part of it. See, another guy, Tim, that we had in this weekend. Let's see, we had a bunch of big time players. We're going to highlight some different ones. One guy we feel like we got the lead for is Onus Conanberry.
Conan Banny.
Yes. Okay. I get that mixed up every time.
Well, it's a Canadian name.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's Canadian, I think. Cornerback. I believe we were the leader on that one, Tim. I think he actually come out and said so.
He did name us as a leader, 4-star, now residing in South Carolina, though. Did name Tennessee as leader, and you can't have too many good corners.
No. Another Canadian, Tim, a former Canadian, that's currently living in Tennessee in Chattanooga, was also there, Shakai Mills-Knight, running back. He's 6'2", 210. Watched a little bit of his film. Pretty good running back, man. I feel pretty shifty, good speed, good power. I could definitely see him in this offense when you're watching him on film.
Oh, yeah, I could too. I don't care if they give this kid a 1-star or a 5-star or no star. I mean, you watch his film and you think, man, that's a good quality running back right there. Size, speed. Speaking of speed, I mean, I'm not going to say he's Usain Bolt speed, but I will say his uncle is Usain Bolt's track coach.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting little factoid, though.
Yeah, so now I know he's genetically got to have the speed, but I'll guarantee you this kid knows how to run to maximize his speed.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, I promise you that. And you'd never go, them Jamaican runners, man, the sprinters have been dominating for decades. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's something in the water or something, just the fact that they focus on it, but flat out run.
Another big time guy that was down there this weekend that I think we probably lead for. He didn't say it, with Bryce Donovan Jenkins, big defensive tackle out of Washington D.C. area. I feel like we're the leader on that one.
Yeah, he's never named us as such, but he's a position in need. I think we've from the get-go seemed to have really had a good connection with him, and as he should, because I mean he's a legacy prospect. His father played basketball down for the Big Orange back in the day, Halsley, I can't recall how you really say it, to be honest about it now. But as a kid, we could use some defensive tackles. We've not done as well at that spot in the last couple of cycles, numbers wise anyway. We've got some good ones, but
Yeah.
numbers wise, we need a little bit more. And he's very high up on the staff's list of important recruits, simply because that's a good looking prospect at a position of need.
Right. Another guy I feel like we were really close to commitment on is safety Shady Hayward. Uh, he's a pretty big time guy, and now he's on the bigger side. He could. Some people, I think I've heard Austin Price say several times, could grow into a linebacker eventually.
Yeah, I've heard several people in the industry actually bring that up too. And there's no guarantee he'll go to linebacker.
Right.
But I mean, he's got the build. It could happen.
I remember a guy a long time ago, that was kind of a bigger size safety that transferred into linebacker. Turned out pretty good.
Yeah, Jackson, Tennessee, Mr. Al Wilson.
Al Wilson. So yeah, it happens. So I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong with this one here, but there was another big time guy that did that, not at Tennessee, but maybe one of them Miami guys.
Well, actually, it probably was Miami because Miami kind of started the whole thing, and we were one of the very first schools doing it too under Johnny Majors, and that is basically, corners to safeties, safeties to linebackers, linebackers to defensive ends to defensive tackles.
Right.
And you recruit them that way out of high school, not just
Yeah.
because they didn't work out. You'd see these guys that had the frame, you felt, to carry more weight, and intentionally Miami went out and would get these guys and bulk them up, and they kept their speed.
But I may be wrong on that because he's such a big time big linebacker when he retired. But I swear I believe he was a safety in high school. But anyway, great event, huge event. Hopefully we carry some of that momentum into a lot of these kids' official visits here in a couple of weeks, and have signed a big time class.
Yeah, the month of June is gigantic. We've got probably 50 official visits coming in that month. Of course, everybody in the country does. It is the time for commitments to be decided and then announced in July for many, many, many prospects. So like you said, hopefully keep that momentum going. And speaking of keeping momentum going, let's keep what we got coming out of Hoover, Alabama going for that baseball team.
Yeah, won the SEC championship, Tim. Big Vols did. Even though I tell you what,
I mean,
tournament
yeah,
champ.
tournament champ, because we won them both. I mean, regular season, tournament,
Right.
whatever.
Hopefully national championship.
Yeah, just keep on piling on the awards this year.
He, man, I tell you what though, I was really wondering if we was going to win that one. It looked like we was winning the whole game. Bottom of the ninth, we're up 4-1. They get a double, another double, another double. Next thing you know, we're up 4-3, and they got a man on second base with one out. I'm thinking we're gonna lose this ball game, but luckily Combs got the final two out there and sealed the deal and come out a winner there. Because I tell you what, we was a little thin on pitching at that point. If that thing went in the extra innings, I would have bet on LSU to win that one. But huge win. The seeding comes out later today, probably after we release this. But we fully expect Tennessee to be the number one overall seed in the tournament, and we'll see who we get in our region. But I look forward to it. Hopefully, Tennessee makes the College World Series and advances very far.
Yeah, it's been a long, long time since the number one seed has won the College World Series, back like 19 years, I believe. So while a lot of people would say, don't give me that number one seed, I say give me that seed, and we're going to be the team that breaks that cycle because it has to break sometime. Might as well be this year.
Well, like you said, man, sooner or later, number one, the best team in the country is going to win it. And it's been so long that it's time.
Yeah, it's pace time as far as I'm concerned for this year.
Right, a good time to do it. And we should get a very good first game seeding.
Yeah,
And
the draw should be hopefully favorable.
yeah, I'm sure there'll be at least one really good team we'll end up face early on, but we'll see. We'll know more about that today, probably later today, and we'll go from there.
Well, Tony V's done a lot of winning the last 3 or 4 years, more than any other coach out there.
Winningest program in the country the last few
Yeah.
years. So I mean, we're consistent. We're there every year, and I think we're going to maintain that consistency going forward. I mean, we're just a national championship, Tim, in my opinion, to be from being dominant. I mean, we're on the verge there.
Yeah, we could be setting up a dynasty with just a little bit more something to push because Tony V is getting the kids in here like crazy, and it's a real thing missing from his resume to be a young coach already. He's done so much. If he could go ahead and put a trophy up on the wall, um, wow, the momentum there could be
Oh
scary
yeah,
after that.
I could see us just taking this thing to the next level, which is just dominating people. You know, recruiting's already doing well, but a national championship, that's the only thing other people can just push at us, say, hey, well, they're win, but they haven't won a national championship.
And you hear that all the time.
Yeah.
So let's shut that up this year.
We do it baseball, let's go ahead and do it football, basketball, you name it. We'll just do it in every sport out there. And
That's right. Be greedy.
Be greedy.
Well, quite honestly, before we get out of here, we always hear about the Tennessees can win in a lot of sports, but don't. We have a big, huge gap when it comes to a national title in the major sports.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like those times, a lot of times when the score has big gaps, when those gaps finally shut, it's like a big snowball coming down a hill. It ain't the only sport that has it. You'll see it all of a sudden, bam, 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 across multiple sports. And man, this feels like the momentum is going that way for Tennessee.
Yeah, I agree. Well, guys, that's it. Remember, like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. We do appreciate it. And remember, go Vols.
Go Big Orange.